Well, hey guys, it's Viejo here, and it is the first week of February in 2024, and we've had a little bit of weather here on the central coast of California, and we've had some rain, but that hasn't been the big picture. It's been steady rain, not real heavy, but steady for the last 48 hours, and high winds, kind of sustained at 25 to 30, gusts up to 50 and 60. And so we had a lot of trees down. Our soils, are saturated and they're not real deep. We've got granite underneath us in a lot of the state, and just hillsides come down and create problems, all kinds of stuff going on, flood warnings and so forth. Anyway, I'm high and dry here. My place, we're kind of sitting up on an ancient sand dune, so the grounds are pretty porous, and rainwater kind of just runs right down through into the water table, which is good. But my power was out all day, and so it's later in the evening right now as I'm filming this. But all is well here at the old Viejo Hacienda. Hey, if you thought it was Moldy Monday, you were right. It is Moldy Monday, and we're up to episode number 49. We're getting close to the end of this thing. What I've got for you today is another Saeco mold, and this is the number 115. Saeco says this is a 122 grain bullet. It's bevel base, round nose, 9mm. You could put it in a 38 probably, but it's designed as a 9mm bullet. And mine actually casts very close to their advertised 122. I think mine came out at 123 with my alloy that I cast these in. And we cast them up to shoot out of the Kimber 1911 firearm that I like. Well, I like the 1911 platform, as you know. I'd shoot a 40 Smith & Wesson if they'd make it in a 1911, but nonetheless, different story, right? So, let's go ahead, and you guys know the drill here. If you're watching on YouTube, I can't even open the box. I've gotten in trouble for that, just for showing a mold with nothing in it, cold in my hand. They don't like that. So, if you want to see all of the casting stuff, you got to go to my Rumble channel, and by now most of you know how to do that. You go over here and you type in my channel name that you see right there, just kind of run it all together, no spaces, and on rumble.com there. And you'll find me, or you can type hashtag, that hashtag thing, right? For you old guys, looks like the pound sign, we used to call it, okay? Or a number sign. Hashtag Moldy Monday, again, all run together, no spaces. You'll find me, both on YouTube and on the Rumble channel. They won't even let me give you a direct clickable link. That's verboten as well. So, if you want to see the casting, how that went, go on over there to the Rumble channel. Check that all out. It's a longer video, of course, with all the casting stuff in it. But the mold actually casts pretty well, as you would expect. If you've been watching the series, you know what I'm doing here with Moldy Monday. I've got over 250 molds now, and many of them I had not cast. They were just sitting in my collection. I'd picked up for one reason or the other, because they were cheap, or it was one I just didn't have, or it was interesting for some other reason. And I never cast them before, so I said, well, let's get these out and get them going. It's like holding on to a firearm that you bought as an investment. Our friend Fortune Cookie 45 LC has just kind of started bringing out some of his quote-unquote investment firearms, and said, you know what, they weren't that good of an investment. Let's go shoot them. So I'm kind of doing that with this. They're sitting over there. Why did I buy them if I'm not going to use them? So we're using them. And I committed at the beginning of this to do one new mold a week for a year. And we're getting close to the end of that. So these are molds that they might have not been purchased brand new, but they were at least new to me. Most of my molds I get secondhand. I like them better. So we've got the Saeco number 115. Lately, they're putting a 6.2 in front of that. So this is the 6.2-115. Where their nomenclature comes from, I don't know. There's nothing about a 115 that has anything to do with this bullet. But That's what it is. So let's go ahead, and if you're on YouTube, we're going to skip to the part where we start taking this thing out of the powder coat and take a look at it there, and we'll look at the metrics page that I always do, and then get into some shooting. This is what the bullet looks like as cast before powder coating. All right, kind of a typical looking Saeco round nose. They like to do those sort of, you know, sharper round nose bullets. And if you're on Rumble, then we'll get into the mold, take it apart, take a look at the bits and pieces, and then go in and look at some casting. All right, let's go. Here's the data for that bullet. Saeco number 115 came out to 123 grains. Both cavities measured at about 0.358, just slightly under that. If you look, you can see a little bit of a shoulder up there at that top driving band. So our length measurements overall 0.615, and from the excuse me, from the base up to that little shoulder is 0.275. Okay, right out of the oven, Saeco 115s in Eastwood Sea Blue. So this mold took a little bit of time for me to get it at the right starting temperature. Sometimes, you know, I hit it just right and get them off of that hot plate and it's ready to go. And for whatever reason, it wasn't on there long enough, or it was too cold outside, or I just screwed up or whatever. Anyway, didn't want to cast very well to begin with. It was too cold. And so I had to take it off the casting line there, put it back on the hot plate, get it heated up again, and then it started to give me good bullets. So, you know, starting temperature is a big deal on the molds. And, you know, if they're not giving you good bullets, you know, you get a lot of wrinkles and sags and stuff. And it's, you notice that sprue is frosting over really quickly. The mold's too cold. And there's no point in messing with it. Get it back on a hot plate, get it up to temperature. And you could just keep casting with it, casting. Eventually it'll come up to temperature. Faster to do it on the hot plate though. Anyway, so that's what I did. And then we came back and it ran really well after that. So we loaded some up to shoot out of the Kimber 1911. So let's go see how the shooting went. Saeco number 115.
That first two you twice. See that?
Just to the right?
Yeah. So the first one, the second one split that same way. The third one was the top, and then you got
There's a job I might get it one day.
Nice.
Okay, there's the first magazine full with the Saeco number 115. And then there's the second mag. So that second was a little bit better group. Both shot pretty well though. All right, so the range work went, I'll say well for me. You guys have been with me long enough, know how I shoot. You know, I don't shoot like I did when I was 20 for sure, but those targets were what I would call good for me. Okay, I was happy with the performance of the bullet, and since this is a brand new mold, okay, there's no load data in the book for this one, so you got to kind of go on experience, pick what you think is going to be a safe starting load, and that's what I've been doing. You know, not looking for accuracy necessarily on the first go round with this. I'm looking for what I think is going to be a safe load and make sure it's going to function the firearm. Okay, making sure the brass isn't going into the next county, that kind of thing. And we got there, and a lot of times I'll get a pretty decent starting point. And sometimes it'll be way off in left field. Sometimes it'll be dead on. Okay, this was kind of somewhere in the middle. Okay, it gave me some information that I needed to know. You know, I probably will cast and load this bullet again. I was pretty happy with how it performed. But anyway, the shooting I was happy with. The whole process was good for me. I hope you got something out of this. Maybe, you know, you looked at this mold before, wondered what the bullet was going to look like or how it would do. But that's kind of part of the point of this anyway. Give you guys a look at a different mold once a week for a year. But for now, from the Viejo bench, that's all she wrote.